That's one of the hardest things to do, setting up the cameras. But at least we're able to see all cameras now.
That's true.
Is this the first time you're back with this new setup? Like you being on the podcast? Yeah, right?
That's what I was trying to think. When was the last time I was here? I don't know. I feel like it's been a couple months that I haven't recorded a podcast with you. Because you had asked me a while ago and I said I didn't want to do one.
Why didn't you want to do one?
I don't know. I just didn't feel like it. I just didn't feel like being on the camera.
Really?
Yeah.
But why is that? Do you feel
I
like
don't know.
kind of got to you? Like the comments or?
No, not that it got to me, but it just, I don't know. I just didn't feel like being on the podcast.
Well, Chelo, welcome back to Hoy Nomás podcast. Let's start it off.
Are you ready?
God,
welcome.
Damn,
that's freaking loud.
Podcast with Angel Houseman.
Dejar sorda.
Did it go down?
Loud. No, it stayed the same.
Damn, that show's hella loud.
Merry Christmas.
I feel like that's normal.
Yeah,
that
was hella loud. I had to take off my freaking headphones. Anyways, welcome back, guys, to another episode of Hoy Nomás podcast. Today we have an in-house episode with Chelo. Chelo's back. Chelo, how do you feel being back to the podcast once again?
I don't know. I feel like refreshed.
Yeah?
I feel like maybe I was just overwhelmed. I don't want to say overwhelmed with doing too many podcasts, but I just feel like I just needed a break.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not in it like every single one, but
yeah.
Maybe because usually like I'm hearing every podcast. I don't know, but I just feel like I just didn't want to be in one.
Yeah, it can get overwhelming, right? When you're at times, like, now think about it. Now this is going to be episode 45, right?
Damn, we're in the 40s.
Yeah,
already?
this is gonna be episode 45. And if you think about it, there's like 52 weeks in a year.
Yeah.
52 weeks in a year, and it's been almost every single week that I'm shooting content and uploading almost every single day, every single week a podcast. It's not easy, but we're getting it done. I really enjoy doing podcasts.
Yeah, I know you do.
Yeah. How does everything look behind the scenes for you when you see me doing the podcast, when you see me editing? Will you help out?
I edit.
Well, you help out.
Half and half.
Yeah. So how do you see everything like behind the scenes?
I don't know. I feel like it's kind of chaotic at times. Like right now, like you couldn't find the remote. Like you're like, oh, the camera this, the camera there. And I feel like it just kind of adds more to it if you're running late. Yeah. Like if I was somebody else that you're like, oh, I'm going to have Chelo come over as a guest for today's podcast. I feel like it's just too much. Like like it kind of gets overwhelming, like setting up the cameras. Like it's not angled. Put it this way, put it that way.
Yeah.
Everything else that goes behind the scenes.
But how do you see everything? Because for the short form content, I edit almost every single day to clip up the reels and things like that. Do you feel like how do you see everything behind the scenes when it comes down to that? Do you feel like now you got used to that, or?
I feel like now I got used to it. Like now it's like normal. Like right now I was just kind of thrown off because you were like, oh, this camera and that camera, but I hadn't been back since you got the new cameras.
Yeah, so right now we have, I don't know if I've already said it, but we have the cameras mounted, and I literally have a monitor right in front of me that I'm able to see both of the cameras right now. And we have the third camera, so I really enjoy this setup. It's almost there to my liking. But yeah, I think we've come a long way from having tripods all over the place, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, Chelo, how do you feel about that one episode with Isabel when it comes down to her coming into the podcast and doing pretty much sharing her experience with ayahuasca, and because of her watching your experience in the ayahuasca podcast, I guess reels. I don't know if she watched the whole thing, but how do you feel because of our posts or whatever we're doing right now that she not only did ayahuasca with the shaman that we go to, but she came and shared her story?
I don't know. I feel like it's very crazy because first, with the whole story of what I shared
Yeah.
in the beginning, I was very like I don't know if I want to share this, or I don't know if I want to put myself out there like that.
Yeah.
And after going back and forth with myself, I was like, well, fuck it, let people think whatever they want to think. And then look at all the feedback, the good feedback that we got from that post.
Yeah.
And then that led to Isabel getting a hold of you and then actually doing ayahuasca, because I know a lot of people reached out to you and reached out to me asking about the shaman, but I'm pretty sure that more than half of those people, they haven't done it. So she actually like went through with not just getting his information, but actually doing ayahuasca and probably doing it a second time.
Yeah. But how do you see it as far as like, do you feel the podcast itself is doing a good impact?
I feel like overall it's doing a good impact, but especially with the ayahuasca stories.
Yeah. I think we were just talking about this
A couple of days ago.
Yeah, I think it was yesterday actually that just somebody else reached out to me, a friend from school that I haven't seen in years. What is it? I graduated 2006. We're in 2023. So how many years is that? Like
16.
so six. Oh shit! Like well over 10 years for sure.
Dude,
right?
that's like
Right.
17 years?
Something like that. Well,
Dude, you're
yeah.
old.
Yeah, I haven't seen this friend of mine, and over whatever the years is.
It is 17.
It is 17 years.
Because we're going to go into 2024, and by 2026, it would be 20 years.
Okay, so 17
Shit.
years I haven't seen this person, this friend of mine from high school, and it just so happens, I guess she ended up seeing some of the reels and TikToks. Well, reels through Facebook because I don't think I have her in any other platform, and she's like, oh, you know what? It caught her attention, and she's like, you know what? I wish I could share my story as well. So what I think it's a little bit cool, and at the same time is just a domino effect that because of the podcast, just more and more people are coming out. I didn't want to make this podcast into just pure ayahuasca stuff, but at the same time, I do want it to be part of the podcast.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's something that we're spreading awareness, and a lot of people have amazing stories, and it just so happens that it's not like we're looking out there for people that, oh, you know what, we have to have this person because of ayahuasca. It just kind of happens on its own.
Mm-hmm.
So this podcast itself, with my friend Crystal, she's actually going to be coming, I think, on the 28th, I want to say, so within like a week or two. So not this upcoming week, but the next week.
So after Thanksgiving.
Yeah. So it's just crazy how everything happens and the different people that we've met along the way. So, Chelo, what else do you have to say?
You're the
What the hell?
you're the main one. You're the one that has to ask the questions.
Okay. Thanksgiving or Christmas?
Oh, Christmas.
Why?
I don't know. I feel like Christmas feels, it's more like a family. I mean, both of them are obviously, but I feel like to me, Christmas is more important than Thanksgiving. I don't really care about Thanksgiving.
Really?
Yeah.
So how do you see Thanksgiving then?
I don't know. I just see Thanksgiving as a big family dinner, and
Like
we
a
call
gathering?
it a day. Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like that's because along the way it's kind of lost its meaning, right? Do you feel
Well,
like
what's the real meaning behind Thanksgiving though?
Oh, that's why I'm asking you. So why do we even celebrate and get together?
I can't remember honestly the fucking story.
You see what I mean? It's lost its meaning along the way. I'm not saying that you in general, but I'm pretty sure a lot of different people feel the same way, that we've lost touch with it. And at the end of the day now, to modern times, it's more, like you said, like a potluck, getting together, cooking turkey and mashed potatoes. But the meaning behind Thanksgiving, it's lost its way along the way.
Yeah.
Would you say that?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people say, oh, what are you guys going to do for Turkey Day? Things like that. But it's more of turkey now rather than the actual Thanksgiving holiday within itself.
Yeah, I feel like a couple years ago, it was more of like the turkey and Black Friday.
Yeah.
But I feel like Black Friday now, it's kind of like, But I don't know. I just see it as a big potluck for everybody.
What are you thankful for?
Ooh. There's one thing that came up to my mind, but I can't say that right now. I don't know. I would just say life in general and everybody around me.
Okay. So just overall, just the people and close ones next to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's something, let me ask you this. What's something that you're thankful for and appreciate about me?
Ooh. What you do every day, like as a provider in the relationship.
Expand on that.
Like, for example, I mean, I know like right now, I don't have to go to work. If I don't want to, I wouldn't have. I mean, I'm not going to work right now. But if I was with somebody else, I would probably not have that luxury to be like just doing whatever I want or just being home.
Yeah.
If I was with somebody else, I'd probably have to be like, no, you have to work. Or it would be like a 50-50 type of thing.
Yeah. So that's what you appreciate? Just being the provider?
Well, not just a provider, but like just taking care of me and Teddy.
Do you appreciate that?
Yeah. You're like, you never tell me this.
No, it's good. That's why I'm asking you. To be honest, I'm thankful for a lot of different things, right? At times, work can be stressful. A lot of things can be stressful, right? But then you really, really have to sit back and think of all the different things all the different blessings that we have in our current life, in our lifestyle. Just the simple fact that we have a roof on top of our head, we have a car, we have a, steady income coming in here and there. I mean, tomorrow's not guaranteed, right? But I'm just very, very thankful for everything we have. But more than anything, I would say health, right? I think we disregard health. But it always happens that when somebody's sick, they don't really care about anything else. All they care about is being healthy, right? It's so us being healthy, not having to worry about our health right now. Thank God, right? I'm very, very thankful for that. I'm thankful for you, for your family, your immediate family, your mom, your dad, my mom that's still alive, thank God. And just I'm very appreciative for the people that surround us, because I don't know if you feel the same way, right? But I feel like our circle has gotten smaller and smaller along the way.
Yeah, and I just feel like as the years go by, it's just going to keep getting smaller. It's not going to get bigger.
Why do you say that?
I don't know, because I feel like the bigger the circle, the more fake people that are around you. And I feel like I've already dealt with that, so I'd rather be with myself than be with a bunch of people.
Yeah. Why do you feel like you don't really talk to a lot of your friends?
I don't know, dude. I feel like this goes back to like something that we were talking about a couple of days ago too. I just feel like I just go on these, it's kind of like with the podcasting too, that I was just like, oh, like I just feel overwhelmed. But I mean, before when we were like out of high school, I mean, most of us started working, but we had more free time. And I feel like now everybody's like either married or have kids. They have like all these things on their plate that we can't be like, oh, let's meet up right now, like at 5 p.m.
Yeah.
We can't be doing that anymore. I mean, we obviously can arrange things, but now it's like, oh, like, can you this day? No. Can you that day? No. And I just feel like it's more of a hassle. But I mean, I don't have anything against my friends, but I just feel like I go in these like, how can I say it? Like I go on this, like, I don't want to say a trip, but I just feel like at times I don't want to like talk to anybody. And that doesn't mean that I'm mad at you or that you did something to me. Like, because if you did something to me, I'm just cut you off.
Right.
But I just feel like I go como en unos ratos donde I just don't want to talk to anybody, and I just like don't text back to anybody.
Right. Like you don't want to be hearing any gossip. You don't want to be hearing any of
that.
that.
I don't want to be hearing anybody's problems. Like, for me, another thing too, it's like if you're gonna vent out to me, I'm gonna listen to you. But then if you're gonna keep venting out to me about the same shit over and over and over again, and you're not gonna do anything, then I don't want to fucking hear it.
Right.
So I just go on like, I don't know. I just feel like I'm like, okay, like I've had enough of you guys, and I'm like gonna stay in my own little zone, and then I'll come back whenever I want to come back. But I mean, it's not like I have anything against them.
Right.
And I feel like all my friends that I have left, we're all kind of like that. Like we all like we'll talk for a little bit, and then we'll go back to doing our own thing, and then months go by, and then we go back to like, hey, let's hang out.
Yeah.
So it's like we hang out a couple times in the year, not like every other weekend.
Yeah, for me, I saw I saw something that really caught my attention. It was actually a TikTok, and I resonated with this a lot, because it said, I'm at my current stage right now that I'm in life. I'm very dedicated and motivated into the goal, the mission of what I'm currently doing, right, with social media, the podcast. And a lot of my friends, my old friends, right, or current friends that I have or that I used to hang out a lot, I feel like they're not into the same things that I'm at, right? So it's hard to connect with a lot of them because I wish I would be close to them, that we can share ideas and get together and shoot content, things like that, and even have them on onto the podcast. But I feel like at this current stage, a lot of my friends have parted ways because we can't connect in that sense.
Yeah.
But the part that really, really got to me and I resonated with is that I'm in that lonely stage right now, right? Because since I can't
Really?
partially relate with my old friends, I'm in that lonely stage because I haven't met my new set of friends that I can relate to, right? Like people that are currently doing the same thing that I'm doing, that we can share ideas and all that. So I think that's one of the hardest things that I'm currently at. That's why I don't really hang out with a lot of my friends, right? And you know what? I there was one point that I was reaching out to a lot of my friends, like, hey man, let's do this, let's do that, like, hey, let's get together. But it got to a point that I was the one always reaching out to my friends, and I was like, man, like, how come they never reach out to me to hang out? Like, how are you doing? Let's do something together. So, kind of got to the point that I'm like, you know what? Screw that, man. Like, it always has to be me reaching out. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna be reaching out anymore. So, that's, I guess you would say that that's my current reason why just my circle starts getting smaller. Maybe my friends might see me doing my thing, and maybe they see it different. Like maybe like they'll see it as far as maybe they think I'm busy, right? Maybe some of them might be like, he's doing his thing, like kind of like he's too good now, right? In a negative way, they might see it like that,
Like,
right? And
ese
it's
quien se cree.
right.
Yeah.
They might look at it like that, but what they don't see is all the struggles, all the hard work behind it. And I wish I had more friends, that way I can show them and teach them things if they were even interested in any of this. But I don't know. I guess it's part of life. I think I just haven't gotten to that point where this takes off, and then I'm like, oh man, this is the set of friends that I can talk to about all of this that we're doing.
Yeah. But even then, when I feel like you find that new tribe of friends, those friends are probably not going to stay with you forever.
True.
So then you're going to, I feel like eventually as life goes on, you're just going to be jumping to like a new set of friends.
Yeah, true.
As your interest changes.
Yeah, true. And only a very few will be true friends that are meant to be part of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very true. Okay, so you said Christmas is your favorite holiday. Why is that?
I don't know. I feel like Christmas.
Freaking white elephant.
I think we should just do the white elephant, dude.
Yeah.
I am not trying to do last minute Christmas shopping.
Yeah,
Heck no.
Yeah, I feel like this whole year just freaking it flew by. It flew, and like we literally brought everything out of the freaking from the attic, brought everything out, everything in bins, couple of days, and next thing you know, the next freaking decorations, and it's just like it's overwhelming.
You know what? I feel like this year went by us. Like, I just feel like you guys were doing project after project after project.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, it's the end of the year.
Yeah. Yeah, it's super fast.
I feel like I'm out of it since I haven't done a podcast in a long time.
Yeah. It's okay.
So what, do you prefer Christmas over Thanksgiving? Or what's your favorite holiday?
It's hard, right? I think Christmas, to be honest. Christmas, I feel like Christmas is it just brings good vibes, right? I think when you're a kid, right, you look forward to the Christmas gifts and all that. But I just feel like Christmas, everybody's in a good mood for the most part.
Yeah. That's true. Unless your family has beef and then they start shit. But
Yeah.
como la familia del Daniel.
Yeah. So at what age did you find out that Santa wasn't real?
I don't remember what age I was.
No?
We must have not been older than 10 or 8.
Yeah. How'd you find out?
We were just talking about this earlier. But so around that time frame, I've always loved watching the Fast and the Furious movies.
The Fast and what?
And the Furious.
The furries?
I didn't say furries. I said the Fast and the Furious.
Furious.
Furious. Change.
Okay, say it again. Okay, so you...
Whatever, you know what I'm talking about. Let me talk. So I've always been into those movies since I was a kid. And I remember that year, I think that's when the second one came out. And I asked Santa for those movies because I would watch them on repeat. Like, if I didn't have anything to do, I would just watch them on repeat on the weekend. So I asked Santa for those movies and I asked him for something else. And then my sister, at that time, she was into Cinderella. So she asked for a Cinderella movie and, like, some other stuff for Cinderella. So I remember that around that time, we used to live in this little-ass apartment. And the living room was at the entrance. And then next to the living room was the kitchen and the dining room. And I remember sitting on the couch. And I think I was watching TV. But the volume was low. So I could hear what my mom was saying. And usually when my mom would be on the phone, me and my sister would be like, ¿Con quién estás hablando? ¿Qué te dijeron? Why are you saying that? Like, why are you making these faces? We wanted to know everything. Every time my mom was on the phone, my mom would be like, espérate. And I remember her talking to somebody, but I didn't know who it was. And it ended up being my tia. And, well, one of my tias. And I guess my tia asked my mom, like, oh, what do you guys get Chelo and Leslie for Christmas? And my mom was like, oh, like, that my dad... She said, oh, el Arturo les compró las películas de Rápido y Furioso y el Alex le compró algo de la Cenicienta. And she was going off, like, the whole list, right? And then at the end, she caught herself and she's like, oh, no. Digo, el Santa. So And then after that, I don't think I ever told my mom that I knew, or that I heard what she said. But afterwards, it was usually, well, when we would go Christmas shopping, it was usually the four of us. So my sister, my mom, my dad, and myself. But my mom, she's always been one of those, I feel like now ya se le quitó. But before, she was one of those people, like, que se encantaba. And she'd be like, I just want to go. Like, she didn't like being in the stores that long. Or, like, looking for stuff. And my dad was the whole opposite. So, my sister, I feel like sometimes she would, like, be like my mom, or sometimes she would rather stay like looking for stuff in the stores. So usually, like every year when it was Christmas shopping, it was usually me and my dad. That was our thing, like going Christmas shopping together. And then sometimes my little sister would tag along, and then sometimes she wouldn't. But my dad was always like very detailed. Like even when he would buy my mom gifts, there used to be this store in on the not Plaza Bonita, on the H Mall, and
H Street.
H Street, and it used to I think the store was called Anne Klein, but it was like office attire for women. And my dad used to buy my mom stuff from there. So my dad was like, okay, like I found this shirt, let's look for a pants, like a set of pants that matches the shirt. And then once we found the shirt and the pants, then we would look for a bracelet or the earrings or the necklace. And like he would get different things, and he would be like, does this look better than this? And then he would like put it on top, and like we'll be like, no, this one, no, that one. And like he was very like that. And my mom, she was just like, she would just se desesperaba, and she was like, I know, like just grab whatever.
That's fine.
And that's why I like going Christmas shopping with my dad. So then I started realizing that every time we went Christmas shopping, he would be like, you remember when Mervin's was around?
Yeah.
Okay, so
over there in H Street.
yeah,
Right? Yeah.
so where Burlington is, that used to be Mervin's.
Yeah.
So I remember our thing was always going to Mervin's. So we used to go to Mervin's a lot, and I remember this very clearly. I think that's the first time that I realized that I was like, oh shit, like he's really gonna make me do this. But I remember we went to the shoe section, and I had asked him for a pair of Skechers. And there was like some white and pink Skechers that had like a Velcro thing. And my dad was like, a ver, mírate estos tenis. And he like made me put him on. And then like kind of like the meme de la Payless que dice, a ver, córrele pa acá, córrele pa allá, like put him on. And he was like touching my toe and doing all of that. And he's like, ¿te quedan bien? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, do you like them? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, okay, nos vamos a llevar. And then he's like, ¿qué size es la Leslie? And then we would look for her size. And then he would usually buy us like the same. For a while, he would buy us the same pair of like twins, like for shoes or for clothes. And then when we would get home, he would make me wrap up everything. So he would put me to wrap up everything. But when my sister wasn't around, so I would just wrap it up like late at night or early in the morning. And then he would be like, ¿Ah, ya los envolviste? And then I'll be like, yeah. So he would make me put like with pen, like the names. Like if it was for me, I would put cello, like really small. And then he would go in and be like, okay, this is for this person. And he would fill out the tag. So that's what he would do at the end. I would just wrap up everything. And then he would put in the tag. And then Christmas came around. And I already knew what I was getting. But I would always act surprised. Like, oh my gosh, I got this. Yeah. So my sister wouldn't know.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, I knew we did that for years until she found out that Santa wasn't real. But I always acted like, oh my gosh, I didn't know we were getting this. Or sometimes.
But at that point, you already knew that you already knew that obviously Santa wasn't real, right?
Yeah, I already knew that Santa wasn't real.
But did your sister know?
It was like the little squared box, and when I saw that, I was like, oh dude, like that's the iPod. and then we unwrapped it. But I remember that okay, so it was Christmas. My dad gave us the iPod. Because, you know, like us Mexicans or us Latinos, we open gifts on the 24th. We never opened them on the 25th like everybody else. So we opened the iPods on the 24th, and like I was all happy and all of that. So then days later, we went to Walmart. And then it was my mom, my dad, my sister, and myself. And I remember that me and my sister were in the back seat. And my sister freaking left. She took the iPod out of the little plastic box that it came in, but she left the box in the compartment of the door, on the back door.
Wait, so the iPod was already open?
Yeah, the iPod had been, like, this was days later after my dad gave us the iPods.
Oh, okay, after Christmas.
Yes, after Christmas.
Okay.
So my dad gave us the iPods. We took him out of the case.
Gotcha.
But I don't know when my freaking sister left the plastic case on the side of the door, like in the little pocket.
Yeah.
So we go to Walmart. We were going to get stuff, and it was the four of us. Leslie opens her door, and it was my dad was driving, my mom, and then I was behind my dad, and Leslie was on this side. So when Leslie opens the door, I don't know how I don't think the box was like all the way into the pocket. Está como salida. So when she opens the door, dude, the freaking box just like slides across the freaking concrete, like así, like se dio vueltas y todo. And then my dad was like, ¿Qué fue eso? And then Leslie was like, oh shit, like the iPod box. But she knew the iPod wasn't in there. And so my dad like turns around looking for what like was sliding on the floor, and she's like, tan caro que me salió. And then Leslie fucking started crying, and then I was just like, bro, like you fucked it up.
No más.
Like, I don't know who I was more annoyed with, like if my dad going off on Leslie or Leslie freaking crying for no reason.
So she started crying right
She
after?
started crying because my dad started going off on her. And she was just crying. And I was like, dude, like, stop crying. And she's like, so Santa is not real. Like, Santa's my dad. Because obviously my dad was pissed because he thought the iPod was in the thing.
Yeah.
And that thing was, like, all over the floor. And he's probably thinking, like, esa cosa ya se quebró.
Sí.
So he was all mad. And he was going off on a whole ass rant. And that's when he realized, like, oh, shit, like, what did I just say? And Leslie was just crying, and my mom was just kind of like, fuck.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of like, oh, my God. So then that's how she found out.
That's crazy.
And then I think that was pretty much the last year that my dad gave us gifts.
Oh, really? So after that, Christmas, ya no les dio nada?
I think afterwards he would, but he would just wouldn't go crazy with the gifts as he would when we were younger.
Yeah, pues dice,
But
ya saben.
yeah, pues ya sabíamos, there was no point in freaking, like, afterwards ya era más como de cura, like, oh, ¿qué le vas a pedir a Santa? But we already knew.
Yeah.
But that's how Leslie found out.
And do you remember like your favorite gift that you ever received by any chance?
My favorite gift? Ooh.
I feel like an iPod is pretty dope.
I think the iPod was the top one, but I mean, other than that, I feel like every year I would ask my dad for toys or Santa for toys, because when I was little, I was in like my Barbie phase, so I was always asking for Barbie stuff. And then the Bratz came out, and then I was like, oh, I want Bratz this, Bratz that. And yeah, but I would say it was probably the iPod, because I always really wanted the iPod, so he finally got it for me. Yeah.
Do you still have it?
No, I don't have it anymore.
¿Qué le pasó?
No me acuerdo qué le pasó.
Really?
I think I just ended up getting rid of it once I actually got a phone, or when I got my first iPhone.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how Leslie and I found out.
That's crazy.
How did you find out?
I don't think I.
You're like, I didn't believe in Santa.
I think I always knew that it was my dad, my mom. Yeah, I don't really think I ever believed in Santa. Like I knew Santa was there, like the guy that looks like Santa, but I was like, this is my parents buying the gifts, you know? Yeah.
Or did the kids in school tell you?
You know what? I don't remember it, but I always knew Santa was the figure, right? But it was always like the parents buying it. For some reason, I don't recall having somebody like, oh, Santa's not real. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, I don't think, I mean, when I found out, I was just kind of like, I feel like I had noticed a lot of things that my dad would do that I was like, that's sketchy. Like, why would he be doing that if he's not Santa. Like first it was the writing, or then sometimes because he would go and hide the wrapping paper in his room, and it would be that same wrapping paper that the gifts will appear under the tree.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why do you have the wrapping paper? But he would just always, I feel like he would just come up with excuses just to like play it off.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
is there something that you always wanted to get and you never got?
Yeah, dude.
Really? What's that?
It was one of those battery little carts.
Oh,
the driving.
The one I just mentioned. I don't know. You haven't watched the Neil podcast,
No,
right?
I haven't.
So I mentioned I got that one. El que tenía batería, like a battery.
Yeah,
that you would
and then
put
you like drive it.
You would actually sit
Dude,
down and
I
drive.
always wanted one of
I think
those.
it was called Power Wheels or something like that.
Power
right?
Wheels,
Yeah.
and it had like different like the boy and the girl version.
Yeah. I got one of those. I think that's probably one of my favorite gifts ever. I don't remember if I got it for Christmas though, but I remember I got it. But yeah.
He never got it to him.
Yeah. I wonder how much they were worth back then.
I feel like they were like 300.
I want to say that 300, 400 maybe. I don't know.
But now I feel like they're probably more expensive.
¿Cómo se llamaban?
Power Wheels.
Power Wheels. A ver. Say something, entretén a la gente.
I think I just thought about another gift that I really wanted and I got. I don't know. It wasn't for Christmas though. I think it was for my birthday. Do you remember when the Heelys came out?
Yeah.
Dude, I really wanted those, like the Heelys.
Yeah.
And I was on my dad too, que los quería. And I remember we went to Mervin's like I don't know how many times. And every time, because when we were kids, I think I've told you this, every Friday, it was like shopping Friday. Like every Friday, my dad came back from work. Me, my mom, my sister, and myself, we would all be ready for my dad to get home, like get ready and take a shower. And then he would take us to Mervin's and he would like let us pick 2 outfits every Friday. And that was like the routine of every Friday. Like every Friday nunca faltaba el trip to La Mervin's. And then we would usually go get like, if we didn't go eat to a restaurant, we would get like pizza and then we would end up at like Hollywood Video. And then he rent out like a movie or 2. Yeah. And usually like he would let me pick one and Leslie pick one and then they would get one and then we could get our favorite candy and then that was our Fridays. That's
dope, man. I used to remember going to Hollywood Video all the time and it was exciting, right? To go
You're like, what the hell?
Yeah, to go pick out a movie, right? And it's just like, oh man, or a game. You would pick out a game or a movie. Back then, and if you figure back then it was probably 200, 300. If it was that price, it's pretty expensive for back then. Yeah. So I think a while back, where this is kind of like off topic to Christmas, right? But you had to mention something about Disney World that I thought it was pretty dope. Like
the conspiracy theories.
Yeah. Since right now a lot of people do go to either Disneyland and all that, I thought that story was pretty crazy.
So oh my gosh, I will need to look for the video. It's probably on my watch videos on YouTube, but there is this YouTube channel that they talk about Disney, like Disney specific, right? Okay. So this guy, I don't know if you remember, but I remember a while ago, this family had a lawsuit against Disney because they went to Disney World. And I don't know if you know, but in Disney World, there's like different parks with different themes.
Oh, I
like
didn't
there's
know that.
Epcot. I think there's Epcot. There's like different ones. The Safari, luego hay como 5, 6. I don't know. There's different ones. Like, you know how here's California Adventure and then regular Disney?
Oh, okay. So,
Well, over there's like 5
oh, okay.
or more.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Well, okay. So there's a couple parks, and I remember this specifically because I think it even came out on the news that this family was like this couple and their kid. The kid must have been like a toddler. They went to one of the parks, and I guess there's like a lot of swamps over there. But then you have to keep in mind Florida, because Disney World is in Florida. That's where like there's a lot of alligators over there. So even regulars that live there, they have to be careful with the alligators. So this couple went, and they were like on something kind of like on a deck thing, and the little boy, he was like looking towards the water, and the freaking alligator came and snatched the little boy.
Damn, like it jumped out or something?
Yeah, like he was probably waiting for the little boy que se acercara más, and he like snatched him. Oh. And I don't remember if he killed him or not, but he snatched. Well, I'm pretty sure he did. I mean, a 2-year-old versus an alligator.
Yeah.
So then the parents were mad because they're like, oh, if Disney has alligators, why wouldn't they put a sign to not go near the water? That way people would be like, oh shit, if there's alligators, we need to be careful with it. So it was like, fue un pedote, and I remember seeing that, and I was just like, what the fuck? Like, that's crazy. And like, that's sad and that's crazy, but I feel like that's kind of negligent from their end to not say anything, because then people would be more careful. So then I found this podcast, and they were talking kind of about the same thing, about the whole alligator situation. And there was this guy that I guess he submitted his story like anonymously, or I don't remember if he said his name. But he said that he used to be one of those in the safari parks. The safari park is like where all the animals are kind of like on the loose, and then they go like on that little like the bus that has those rails, but you still like can take your hand out and stuff like that. So he said that they were on one of those rides, and that I guess Disney has a protocol that if somebody were to get snatched by an animal from the thing, there's no stopping. Like, you're not gonna fucking stop to like try to like pull the person back into the car, or, like put them back where they are supposed to be. Like, you have to leave.
Wait, what the heck?
So let's say, okay, por ejemplo, let's say we're in that little safari car, no?
Okay.
And there's animals around. Like, let's say a freaking lion or whatever you want to call it. You freaking take your hand out, and the freaking lion grabs onto your freaking arm. Like, they're not going to be fighting for you to pull you back into the car. Like, if the freaking lion wants to pull you out, they're going to let him pull you out.
What the heck?
Like, and they're going to haul ass.
Yeah.
And that was the thing. So I guess this employee or ex-employee was saying that he was on one of those rides. And I guess, I think it was an alligator again that he grabbed. I think it was probably a kid, because, I mean, a kid is faster or easier to snatch than somebody that's más grande. And that I guess the alligator snatched a kid or something, and the parents were going crazy. He's like stop, like, you need to stop so we can go get him. And he's like, I can't stop, and he drove off.
What?
So there's just like crazy stories. And even on the podcast El Shane, they've talked about all these like crazy like freaking Disneyland stuff.
Damn. So you think it's multiple people that have gotten like killed and snatched by
oh yeah, but you know what, another thing that I've seen in these videos is that, like, I guess Disney won't disclose to the public how many people have died on the park. What? Like, haven't you ever heard that on I think it's Space Mountain, El que se mira the one that's all dark. Yeah, that one, that there was somebody that was going on the roller coaster, and then I guess mid-ride they like kind of like stood up on the thing, but I guess there's a bunch of tubos that you can't see because it's all dark in there, and they got decapitated.
What?
You haven't heard of all these?
He in Disney one?
Yeah, I think it was this one.
What? No, I never heard of that.
You see, like, nobody knows about these things.
So how'd you hear of it?
It was like on one of those videos that, like, I was one of those things that the employees from the park share those stories.
Oh, they disclosed it?
Yeah.
What?
But obviously, like, the news is not going to be a freaking Disney saying, like, oh, this shit happened.
What the hell? Damn, that's crazy.
So they have all these crazy protocols they have to follow. Like, even remember the time that we were at Disney when that guy fainted like 2-3 times?
Oh yeah.
Remember how weird that was? Like,
Yeah.
the freaking paramedics came like out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then the line was stopped, and then they let him be there, and then
Oh yeah, that's crazy.
Remember?
You bring up a good point. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure a lot of different things have happened, right? Like, and not saying that it's Disney's fault, right? But for instance, like just medical emergencies or things like that. For instance, right now that you say that, we went to Disneyland
it was last year actually.
and this guy, he was fainting, right? I think he fainted once or twice.
Yeah.
And they came rushed, and they a lot of the, I guess, the medical department went and picked him up, and they took him out in a wheelchair. But you never hear of those things.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure now because of people posting and recording and TikToks.
Social media, yeah.
But I feel, you know what? Now that I think about it, I've never really seen an incident like that being on TikTok or on Instagram. I wonder if they remove it.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Right? That's crazy because now that I think about it, because you think about it, people recorded there, right? People were on their phones.
Yeah.
But I never saw that on TikTok. You never see anything negative
you never
about
see
Disney.
anything.
That's crazy. Huh. I had never thought about it.
Or think about it. When have you seen somebody like, oh, somebody got injured in this game at Disney?
Yeah.
You hear about Six Flags and you hear about all these other amusement parks.
And I'm like, what the? But he don't have social media, so I'm like, oh, give me that video so I can post it.
Oh, you showed me that
Yeah,
one.
and I posted it, and it was taken off on TikTok, but it got removed because of violence and all that. But yet again, how many videos on TikTok is in there of people fighting and things like that, right? And but now that we're talking about Disney, I really wonder if Disney has a strict like protocol for them to like take down those videos from social media.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Like there was, ay, donde miré otro que decía. So have you heard that Disney has underground tunnels allegedly?
Yes, I think.
Do you know what they're for?
No.
So supone que the underground tunnels are for if you're an employee from Tomorrowland and you're trying to get to the other end of the park, you're not crossing in between different lands with your uniform from Tomorrowland.
Oh, what
like
the heck?
if you belong to Tomorrowland, like your ass is staying in Tomorrowland, and if you need to get to the other side of the park, you're gonna have to use a tunnel to get underneath, so nobody from Frontierland is looking at you with the Tomorrowland uniform.
Really?
You haven't heard of that?
Nah.
Oh my god.
Oh, you know what? That's crazy.
Because when have you seen somebody from a certain section of the park being with their uniform at another section? Like, como a small road in Tomorrowland or. But even when there's the festivals at night, the people directing the festival, they're not wearing like an exact from like an exact location uniform. They just say like they have their name tag with Disney and they're wearing like a blue shirt.
Right.
They don't belong to like a specific section, and those are the people that are like, go here, go there, go there.
Yeah, they're just like the Disney employees with their like formal uniform.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. So is that a known fact that they do have tunnels?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And I don't know. Oh, fuck. I'm trying to remember, but I guess there's this guy that he's on TikTok, but I guess I don't know if it's on TikTok or on YouTube. But I had just seen this. I don't know if it was on a Shane Dawson podcast or on another podcast, but I guess he is. Because I guess in the tunnels, they're not supposed to be recording, or I guess they can't have their phone. And this guy kind of like se infiltró, and he's been recording or exposing a lot of shit. But I mean, if they take down those videos, I'm pretty sure if Disney's like really strict with their protocols, I feel like they're gonna find those videos and take them down.
That's crazy. Man, just to have tunnels within itself, that's insane.
Yeah.
For them to go that far, for them not to have somebody wearing the wrong uniform in the wrong side of Disney.
I guess that comes from like when Walt Disney, like the one that passed away, like the owner, he was very strict on that. Something along those lines. And then I don't know if the tunnels have always existed or if they're like a newer thing, but they exist.
Yeah, I think the only thing I saw was that, I guess Walt Disney, if that's his name, the owner. The only thing I saw was that there's a lot of pictures of him, and if you see his hand, he's always holding it like this, right? But what they did is they photoshopped the cigarette out of his hand.
Oh.
Yeah, but because I guess he used to smoke a lot, but now all of the pictures he's always like holding something, but there's nothing on his hand. But his fingers are always together like this. So the theory is that they photoshopped all the cigarettes out of his hand because they wanted to keep the image of Disney being clean. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Like in one of those videos that I was watching too, they were saying that, you know, that ride que dice, it's a small world.
Yeah.
They say that según that ride is haunted.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because they say that, I guess, they said it's haunted, but fuck. Hold on. I can't remember if they said that even when the ride's off, the song and the monos keep going.
What the heck?
Fuck. Can't remember. I'm gonna have to get back to you on that one.
I kind of heard about that one, but I mean, just the song itself is kind of creepy.
Yeah, it's freaking
right?
creepy.
Yeah, and this one is kind of like out there, but they said that supposedly Walt. Oh shit, that one died off.
No, you're saying Walt something.
Yeah, they say that supposedly Walt's body is frozen. Have you heard about that one?
Yeah, that theory that he's frozen.
Yeah. Do you know why though? I just heard about it, but
it was something about him wanting to be preserved until I don't know when, or for him to come back for a specific time frame.
yeah.
Ay, no me acuerdo.
Yeah.
But I've heard that theory.
Yeah. But also, I don't know, I feel like there's so many things behind like Disney and Walt or whatever the case is, right? Even the movies, there's always like little hidden things, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel like they do it on purpose? Or do you feel like it's just people, like whoever's editing, they want to be like por malosos?
I feel like they do it on purpose to see if people are even
like paying attention
to it.
Or do you feel like it's subliminal messages?
Maybe like a little bit of both of subliminal messages and if people are paying attention, because I feel like every now and then they're like, oh, do you guys remember this scene of this movie? And it actually said this.
Oh, so to have people talk about it?
Not necessarily. Well, I guess talk about it, but to see how much people are paying attention to the movie.
To the dialogue.
Yeah,
and all
to
that.
the dialogue and everything.
Gotcha. All right, Chelo. So we're almost hitting an hour. If there's something that you would want to say for the holidays, if you have just a message you would want to share, is there anything in specific you would want to share?
Well, I would just want to tell everybody that happy holidays, whether you guys celebrate the upcoming holidays or not, and for you guys to stay safe out there and to eat everything.
To eat everything.
Munch at everything
Yeah.
you guys can.
Yeah. I feel like for me, it's just whoever listens or watches this podcast, for me, is just, and I feel like the majority of people, at least the older generation, know that it's not about gifts, right? A lot of people stress out about giving gifts or like not buying gifts with time, and they're stressing out. Maybe they don't have enough money, but the holidays, it should be about spending time with the family, you know, like their loved ones, friendships, and just enjoying the time to being together, right?
Yeah, that's true.
I saw this one thing that really caught my attention. I think it was through TikTok, actually, that At times, like especially during the holiday times, at times you're holding grudges, or maybe you're mad at a relative or your parents. But it really gave me a different mindset, because it said something along the lines that your parents, we're using your parents as an example, right?
Yeah.
But your parents are experiencing this life for the very first time. So be kind to them and be a little bit more understanding, because there's no rule book to life, right?
Yeah.
So they're just doing their best that they can to be the best version of being a parent, right?
I mean, I kind of have to agree and disagree with you, because I feel like a lot of parents know. Not that they know, but they just don't want to do better. And I'm not saying for my parents, but I just feel like there's a lot of parents that know that they could do better, but they just decide to be stuck in the same kind of like cycle.
What do you mean by that, though?
Well, like you're saying right now, right? Like, hold on, I think I lost track. Because you're saying like, oh, you need to be kind to your parents because this is the first time that they're experiencing life. But I feel like that is true. But there's a lot of parents that know they could do better or be better, and they still decide to be the same way they are. I'm not saying all the time. I was just saying sometimes.
Right. So what do you think they don't change for the better?
Because maybe they're just so used to being the way they've been all these years, and that's why they don't want to change. When they don't want to overcome anything or stuff.
So they're just like stuck in their ways, would you say?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, but at the same time, I feel like there's probably some traumas that, or something that's making them not want to change, right? Or maybe it's not their time to fully understand, because when as time passes by, a lot of time people always say, man, I wish I would have done this, right?
Yeah.
And it goes back to a lot of people say, and at times I'm pretty sure you've thought about it as well, that you're like, man, I wish I would have done this, or I wish I would have said this, right? But that's a later version of yourself thinking that.
Yeah.
So it goes back to the same thing, right? That we're all experiencing this life for the very first time, at least in this version, because I really feel like we come back over and over,
times.
right? But in this person of being who you are right now in this current time, you're experiencing life for the very first time. I'm sure you're going to make a lot of mistakes. I'm going to make a lot of mistakes. So my message is be kind and be understanding to your loved ones, to your friends, because we all wish we were perfect, but we're not.
That's true.
Do you still disagree? Kind of. No, be honest.
I don't know. I feel like I'm very harsh when it comes. I don't want to be judgmental. I don't want to say judgmental, but I just feel like I'm kind of harsh when it comes to things like that. Like, if you're a parent, why would you not want to be the best version for your kids?
Yeah.
But it's more specifically for yourself. Because I feel like a lot of times, have you ever heard that quote that you say, oh, I would die for my kids. But then it's like, but will you live with it for them?
Yeah.
And like living for them would be being your best version.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you want to be the best version?
Maybe in their minds, do you think they are? Or do you feel like...
I don't know. Because I feel like even right now, we could say, oh, my best version would be this.
Right. That's so so do you feel like you're your best version right now?
No.
Why is it that you're not being your best version?
For a lot of things, but we're talking specifically about parents right now.
No, just people in general. So
well, I feel like one of them is fear
Fear of what?
of anything.
So fear is stopping you from being the best version of yourself?
For me,
Yeah.
I don't know what's honestly, I don't know what's stopping me from being my best version. To be honest, like I can't give you one thing that I'm.
Well, you said fear.
Well, fear can be one of them.
Yeah. So if you don't know what's stopping you from being the best version of yourself, don't you feel like, now going back to parents, don't you feel like they may not know what's stopping them from being the best parents?
Maybe.
It goes back to the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't answer why you're not the best version of yourself.
You put them in the spot.
No, that's what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
So what if parents, they know that they're not the best parents they could possibly be, but they wish they could, right?
Maybe.
Or no, be honest.
I don't know. I feel like for me, the biggest thing, like, I don't know if to call it like pet peeve, but would be like, I don't want to say names because I don't want to put that person on the spot, but like somebody that didn't have a good mom. Like to me, like that's like the worst. Like I feel like for me, I feel like we're gonna go off like all off topic already. But I feel like for me, and like this goes with my friends and like my family. If you tell me like, oh, when I was growing up, my mom was like this and this and this, I feel like I automatically have like a thing against that person's mom. And I don't know if that makes sense or not.
Say that again.
So
Sorry.
for example, if somebody tells me like one of my friends like, oh, my mom used to be like this and this when I was growing up, I feel like I am personally being attacked, and I feel like I'm gonna feel some type of way to that person's mom. And it doesn't matter if I don't know them, but I just feel like I've always, and even when I was a kid, I've always felt like that towards anybody that told me something, and specifically when it came from their mom.
I wonder why.
I don't know.
Do you feel
I just take it personal.
Really?
I think for me, it feels like if their mom would have done that to me, even though like I might not know the person, or even if I do know the person, I feel like the attack comes to me.
Why though?
I don't know, dude. I've always felt like that when I was a kid. I need to figure that out next time I do ayahuasca, dude. But I've always felt like that.
So I guess to better understand, that you feel like there's no excuses why they should have been the best parent, or
Look, I feel like there's never gonna be a perfect parent. Like
Right.
you can write a letter and say I wish my parents were like this, and I can say I wish my parents were like this. But I just feel like comes into play like when the mom abandons the kid.
Okay.
And that's where my problem comes in.
But what do you mean, like abandoning? Like fully abandoning?
Fully or partially, I don't know, whatever you want to call it.
So what do you mean partially abandoning?
Like, for example, like if your mom just had you and she would have hella kids, and then you would just get thrown off to your tia, and then you would grow up with your tia, and then your mom years later wants to claim you back.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You see, like those.
Oh yeah, that's a big one though.
But I feel like it could be that, or it could be.
I feel like you want to say something, but you're holding back. Yeah.
It's because I don't want to say too much, because I don't want to throw that person under the bus. But
Oh, okay. Is
I
it
don't want to start family drama.
Oh, it's
I
somebody.
could.
It's somebody from your family.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
That's why I say I don't want to start shit. I could, but I'm not.
What the hell? So somebody from your family abandoned their kid? Oh,
I think you know who I'm talking about.
God,
Right?
yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, I don't. Yeah. So yeah, I feel like that's why you take it too hard, because it hits home.
Yeah.
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 Gotcha. Yeah, that's a tough one. That's for sure a tough one. So I now I understand why you take it for like to heart, that you feel like there's no excuse why they should have done that.
Like for me, how can I say this? Like for me, when I hear these stories, it's like if this person wants to be hoeing around or doing whatever the fuck they want to do, like, why are you gonna come and have kids?
Yeah.
If you want to be living your best life or doing you, like, why are you gonna bring somebody into the world and traumatize that person for your shit when you still want to be like doing your own?
Yeah. But don't you think a lot of girls nowadays, modern times, they're doing that? Even so,
I feel like they are, but I feel like, okay, there's a line of like you, like me, if I had a kid right now,
yeah.
of me being like, oh, mom, like, take care of the baby while me and Angel go out.
Okay.
But that's one thing of like doing it every like once in a while.
Yeah.
And then other would be me being like, okay, mom, like, you're going to take care of my baby, and then I'm going to go wild out, and then I'll be checking on you guys like through the week.
Oh, okay, okay. So what would be that crossing of the line? Would you say?
I say when it becomes more of when raising your kid becomes the responsibility of somebody else, that you're not there 100%.
Okay. So let's say this mom is always with their kid, and they leave the kid on the weekends with their parents.
Like every weekend?
Yeah, well, I'm just trying to get to what would be like, oh yeah, that's too much.
I just feel like when it gets to the point that the grandma becomes the mom.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
That's when
I agree with
the
that.
line, you're passing the line.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, like, even when I was a kid, like, and my friends would tell me like, oh, my mom was like this and this when I was growing up, or even when we were kids, I would always take it personal. Like, I don't know why it gets to me so bad.
That's weird.
Like, it feels like, and I say, like, it feels like if they're doing it to me. And I've never experienced that, but I feel like I've had through different people that I've met through my life and like my friends.
Oh, that's crazy. I think that's the first time I ever hear about that.
Yeah.
That it impacts you in that way, that you take it personal.
Yeah.
Huh. Wonder why.
I don't know. I don't know too. I feel like that's why too, like, for years I was always like, oh, I don't want to have kids because I don't want to be, not that I was gonna be one of those moms, but
you feel like you weren't ready at that point?
Like, one, that I wasn't ready, but I was just like, fuck, like, I don't know, like, I'm not trying to traumatize nobody. Like, I feel like for me, my biggest thing was that, I mean, we all have traumas, but why, like, the shit that you don't fix, I feel like you're gonna pass that on, and then the little ball keeps rolling.
Right. Do you feel like that feeling has gone away now that you're ready?
I feel like for the most part, I would say like 90%. Yeah.
I wonder why it gets you so much.
I don't know, babe.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And it gets me so much that this person I'm talking to, I don't talk to her. Like, I have my ties cut with that person.
But because of the love that you have for
the other person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that makes sense, because it's kind of like, since you have so much love for this person, anything that they do wrong to them, you're going to take it very personal.
It's like, if I feel like the roles have swapped, and I feel like I'm the mom of that person. Of the person that I feel for.
Right. Okay.
I don't know if that made sense.
Yeah. Well, because you want to protect that person at all costs, right? Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it goes back to anything, right? And it goes back to anything that, like, let's say if you love somebody like dearly, you don't want anybody to hurt them in any way, whether it's physically or emotionally. Obviously, you're gonna take it like very, very personal.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you think it's just that is just that you have a lot of love for this person, that anything or anyone that fails them in a specific matter, it's gonna impact you.
It's that, but then I also, at first I just thought it was with this person, but then when I started growing up and I kind of started hearing the same story from different people or different friends, that's when I started realizing that, like, my problem is with the parent or the moms that are like that, because then it became a thing of me having this image of that person's mom, maybe sometimes without me even knowing the person. So I don't know. That's where it's weird.
That's crazy.
I don't know.
That's interesting.
Like I feel like that's something I can't tolerate,
Yeah.
and I probably never will.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And you just feel that way towards the mom. Never felt that way, like let's say to the father.
No.
Right. Huh. That's weird. Yeah. Maybe it has to do something with like your past life or something like that.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that, or do you just feel like? Because I feel like you have a very motherly instinct to you.
But you know what? I feel like now that I think about it, that motherly instinct probably developed when I was a kid.
Why?
Because I always felt that Leslie was my kid. She was my sister, but I feel like at one point I felt like she was more my kid than my sister. And I feel like at one point too, she would like not listen to my mom and she would listen to me more. And then my mom would be like, "Ay, regaña a Leslie because she's not listening to me." Like, I don't know if she was saying it playing, but sometimes my sister will listen to me more than my own mom. So, I don't know.
It's crazy. Well, I really, really do feel like you do have a very motherly instinct.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, on top of that, I'm like the oldest grandchild of all my mom's side. So I always felt too that I had to look for everybody else.
Yeah.
The 6 of us.
Yeah.
Or 6 of them.
And you know what? It's something that now kind of tying everything back to the beginning when we first started the podcast is that, you know how you said that you're thankful for me being like the provider, being the man and of the relationship. Something that I'm very appreciative and thankful for you. It's exactly that you're very loving and you're very you have that motherly instinct that you're, you know, that you take care of the laundry, you take care of the household, you do all those feminine things and you give the household that feminine touch.
Yeah.
So I'm and I'm very grateful and thankful for that. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else, Cheto?
No, I think that's it.
Yeah.
You asked me one thing and we just went off.
Man, well, I was gonna end it right there, and it got like feel
all
like
deep.
Yeah, seriously. Hey, that's part of like, you know, having a conversation. You just never know where it's gonna take you to. But Chelo, any last words, last message that you want to have?
No, I think those are my last words. But I honestly think if I did ayahuasca, I need to figure that out. Because even not trying to go into another deep topic, but I mean, I don't know if you realize that I get scared if somebody else is like cutting something with a knife.
Yeah.
I get really paranoid, and I feel like probably like in a past life I got stabbed or something.
Yeah. Well, Isabel mentioned that there's people that
do past life regressions.
Yeah.
I would want to do one of those. Because and then another thing too would be car crashes. Like, I've always been scared. Yeah. I feel like if I would ever knock on freaking wood to get in a car crash, I would die.
Yeah, don't say that.
But
knock on wood for sure. Yeah. Well, I think we'll leave that for another topic. Maybe at one point we can do that to go somewhere and talk like, ¿cómo se dice?
Past life regression.
Regression? Maybe at one point we're able to do that past life regression, like a session. Maybe talk about that. But
yeah.
All right, we're just gonna pretty much end this podcast here with having Chelo as a guest. Thank you for coming on. I know you were a little bit rusty in the beginning, but
I know.
it's always good to have you on. It's just kind of one of those in-house podcasts, and it's always good to have a conversation with you.
Yeah.
All right, like I always like to say, it's a greater risk not taking a risk. Till next time.
Bye.